Hey you guys, welcome back to our channel and welcome back to another video. So it is the very end of our homeschool year and I've got a lot of things that I have to do and just thought I would bring you guys along to wrap up our homeschool year. And actually I was just catching a video from Erica over at My Busy Bees and Me, and she was just going through how they structure out their year for homeschool, and I was like, let me just bring my people along and see how we finish up our homeschool year. So if you're new around here, my name's Shakema. Hey y'all, how y'all doing? I'm a single mom. I have 4 children, 2 girls, 2 boys, 1 fur dog named Gracie. I have a fur grand dog named Acro. So my 2 older children are 30 and 24. They are out of the house, and I have a 16 and 11-year-old. Sister is 16. She is just finishing up 10th grade. So we'll be going into 11th grade next year. And brother is 11, and he's going into 7th grade. So Jackson has never been to school, to public school, one day in his life. Now he did do like a preschool, that kind of thing. We did do preschool. And sister was supposed to go into private Christian school, but then I found out I was pregnant with Jackson. So she went to a regular public elementary school until she was in 4th grade. We pulled her out in 5th grade, and they have homeschooled ever since. So we do use a traditional public school calendar, 180 days. That's the requirement for us here in North Carolina. And that's because I do work in public school setting, and that's the schedule that I'm used to. So I am very selfish in the fact that when I'm off, when my kids are off, I want my kids off when I'm off. So like summers, I don't want to be, some families year-round school. When I'm done, I'm done. So we keep the same schedule. What they in there doing? We keep the same schedule that I keep. So all of my teacher work days are their teacher work days. All of my holidays are their holidays. But we're pretty flexible, because if I need to schedule an extra day on the weekend, I can do that with their schedule. If I need to reschedule, if I need to just schedule a day off, we got busy and didn't have a lot of time to get through all of our things for the day, then I can just reschedule them. So I like the flexibility of homeschool. I've shared this before. I've had different people ask me, why do I homeschool my children? It has nothing to do with not loving public schools. I am a public school employee. I love being in the classroom. I love teaching. It's what I do. My older 2 children graduated from public school. It was simply we wanted a biblically based curriculum, and we did not have that going through the traditional public school. So we would have either had to do private school, which I couldn't afford to put 2 kids in private school, or just pick, do homeschooling where I could pick the curriculum that I wanted to use. So that pretty much was it. There was no ulterior motive. We weren't angry. We weren't mad. Alana had a lovely experience in her elementary school. We had some great elementary teachers, but I just wanted to be able to have a Bible-based curriculum and have that choice to do that as a parent. So that's why we started our homeschool journey. Jackson totally skipped kindergarten. He went right into 1st grade, and he's been moving right along ever since. The kids do a structured curriculum on their computers, and we did something a little bit different this year, this year. Last year, I think we started last year. I think we started last year. I'm gonna work and talk at the same time. Who's helping, Mom? I need the printer plugged in so I can put this ink in it. So I had to go get ink for the printer. I very rarely use the printer. I use the printer for homeschool and printing out grades. And because Alana's in high school now, I have to print out her transcript. And so the curriculum that we use will print out a transcript. So homeschooling in North Carolina is fairly simple. We just have to keep records. We don't have to turn anything into the state. We just have to keep the records in case they audit us. So we are required to keep attendance records, and we are required to do EOGs once they get into 3rd grade and start EOGing. So Jackson has been EOGing. This will be his 3rd set. And Alana, of course, she's already been EOGing since she was in homeschool the whole time. And so with their curriculum, I'm now getting ready to print out there are several reports that come along with the curriculum. So I have attendance, daily homework, daily work report, grade report, past due report, progress reports, report cards, subject reports, and then the transcript. Now the transcript will not print for any grades lower than high school. So we just started printing out the transcript for Alana. And each year you print out one transcript. And when I get to her final senior year, I'll take all the 4 years worth of transcripts and I will then translate them onto a full transcript document. And I may even do that ahead and just save it in my Google Docs. And I'll find one, you know, there's templates. It's going to have to be plugged in over there because I don't have any more spaces here. I'm all full on this side. So the kids are helping me. They're on the other side of the camera, just trying to get me squared away. So there's a couple parts in their homeschool where I actually have to go in and grade things by hand. Most of their grading is done, but then I have to do some grading by hand. So I usually wait till the end of the semester to do those parts. And now I finished up with Sister. I finished up with Jackson a couple weeks ago. So I just finished up with Sister. And now what I'm going to do is print out all their reports. I can also add in things on hers. Like for her elective classes, I can add elective classes in. I cannot add elective classes on Jackson's because they don't do transcripts for elementary school or middle school. It only starts in 9th grade. So for Sisters, I'm going to add in her Taekwondo, which she gets a PE credit. She actually gets 2 PE credits because she takes Taekwondo all year long. And then any elective classes that we did. Now, I get to determine her amount of credits. Like if you're in a public school, the state says you have to have 28 credits to graduate. I get to determine as the homeschool principal how many credits she needs. So I'm not going to necessarily require her to have 28. If we get 28, that's great. But she doesn't, as long as she has her 24 main, then that's what I'm doing with her. Is it on? So we're just trying to get the printer going because our ink has dried up. So I bought this printer cartridge. Actually, at Walmart now they have the refurbished ones, and I almost got that one, but I wasn't feeling brave today because I don't need this to mess up. I need this to really be like, I need this to really work. All right, so now that I have that changed, just gonna toss this. I wish you could see my house right now. Y'all know how much I pride myself on cleaning my house. And right now it is just, I've got laundry. I've got sheets off the bed. And so I'm trying to get the sheets done while I'm doing this. So while the sheets were going and I don't have my bed made, I said, well, let me go in and do the school because I can finish that right now. The kids will be taking their EOGs tomorrow. Let me get plugged in here. Okay. They will be taking EOGs tomorrow. Go. And then we will be done with all school stuff. All right. So my printer is set up. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in to Alana's reports. And then I'm going to click on her attendance report. Then when I go to the attendance report, it asks me to select a term. So I've already printed off. Let me make sure. Hey, sister. Yes, ma'am. Can you let me see in your book if I did your fall term? Let me see if I did the fall. Because I break her semesters. I break her into semesters. I think we started this off last year. And I can't remember. Let me see. No, this was fall. Okay, no, I have all the fall stuff done. So all the fall stuff is printed. That's Jackson's. This is Sister's. Hang on a minute. Let me go back. This is Jackson's for fall. Jackson. it doesn't matter. I can go back in and print sisters out because Alana was having some trouble with her, some of her courses were a little bit heavy for her, and it was a challenge. And so it was like, man, I can't keep stressing my kid out trying to go through a whole 180 days. So when she went to high school, I knew that when she was going into high school, I knew that I was going to have to put her on the 4x4 block schedule, which meant four classes, or break up her subjects into semesters. So she wasn't going the whole 180 days doing math because she hates math. It's not her fave subject. And now my computer is freezing up on me. So I'm going to redo what I'm trying to do. But she hated it. And so I had to figure something out. So one of the things that Erica talks about in her video is round robin teaching, like keeping her kids similar or on the same kind of track, no matter what grade they're in. And so that's what I had to do, was I needed to make sure that I could keep the kids on the same track. Oh, here we go. Okay, we doing good. So if sister was doing math, I needed brother to do math. If brother was doing science, I need sister to do science. So I decided to split Jackson and put him on a semester schedule. And what that did was that gave him plenty of time to get done with his least favorite subjects and be done by the mid-year, and to also, you know, do his most favorite subjects during the other half. And I let them pick. And I usually let her do the harder things for her first so that she can finish up the school year on a good, positive note. This was the first year. This was the very first year. This is our 6th year where we finished up on time, meaning we weren't going a month past our scheduled time to be done with homeschool. So that actually helped out quite a lot. All right, so I finally got my printer to work. I think I had my cord in the wrong port. So it's printing now. Sister has 6-page report for her attendance. So this goes through and it checks all the days. And then if I'm unsure if she was in school one, you know, if it says no, she wasn't in school, or you didn't take attendance this week, I can go back and check to see why I did not take attendance. Jackson did not take 180 days to finish school. He finished way sooner. But he had a plan. And he made that plan the best, you know, he just made that plan. So it worked out real good for us. And I'm glad that we took that approach because it has helped our school. Alana has been so much more successful in her schoolwork. Like, she has not had a lot of stress and anxiety. In the first couple years of school, she was stressed, I was stressed. Jackson's just floating along through life, living his best life. But she was stressed, I was stressed, and it was just too much. Okay, so that's printed. All right, let's see what else we got. So what I printed there was a daily report, and then I'm just going to print a summary report. So I like to print everything. So I know exactly how many days we did what, and if the state ever comes in and audits me, then I have everything. So I keep a notebook. This is for both the kids. I keep Jackson separate and I keep sister separate. And I print out their terms differently because they, you know, Jackson has his computer, sister has her computer. So that was the attendance report. The next thing I'm going to print out is the grade report. And I'm going to print out the grade report from the spring semester because, and then I'm going to print out subject and unit. And I'm going to show, well, for sister, I'm just going to do subject only. And I'm going to preview that and see what it looks like. Okay, she only had 2 subjects. She had English and biology. And I'm going to show the letter grade and the number grade. And we'll see. Yeah, I'm going to print this one out. And it all works out. I try to keep really good records because I want to make sure that I'm doing everything that I'm required to do by my state. So each state has its own separate regulations. The best way to know if you're following regulations is to just go to your state website for homeschooling and look. Some states are very hands-on and they have a lot of check-ins and all the things. Some states like North Carolina are, hey, listen, this is what we're looking for. This is what we're looking for. You have it on file just in case I need it. So every year, try to go back in and update the information for my school, change their ages, change their grades. I just try to keep that going because I want to make sure that I'm compliant. They can audit if they choose to audit. I've never been audited. I have been asked to participate in a elective audit, which I declined simply because I was working and I didn't have time to go down there and do all of that. This just worked. You know, I have all of my files here. They are more than welcome to request an audit, but this wasn't optional. You can do it if you wanted to, and it wasn't important that I do it. I keep a copy of all their EOGs, and then for each year, I just keep a running notebook of everything. Now, as Jackson gets older, things might change. Okay, so that was a subject report. And now I'm doing she's in 9th grade, so let me see. No, she's in 10th grade. So I'm going to do spring. And then I want to put in her non-subjects. So we had physical education. And I'm going to put in and then she's going to get she'll get a full term credit for that. And then this will be for spring semester. And then I have, hey sister, will you help mom? I'm still trying to figure out if I have all your stuff printed out. Grade level 10, okay. You know what I didn't do? I didn't put your what's your name on here. PE. I didn't put PE on there for the fall. So I'm looking at her transcript for the fall, and I didn't put her PE elective on there. So I'm going to go back and fix that. What electives did we have other than PE? Because you've been working on Spanish, so I'll do Spanish introduction. Spanish. And I'm going to do a half a credit because we just started it. So I'm able now to look, all of the ones that are preset on her computer come up. And then at the bottom, I'm able to put in any of her elective classes. Probably need to figure out what I want to call your extra reading. We're going to give an extra reading credit some kind of way. But I can't figure out what I want to call it yet. Like literature. Time period literature. Okay, I'm going to put in horticulture. What's that? Gardening. So I'm putting in a horticulture credit. I'm just giving her a partial credit because we only started the garden when we were out for the pandemic. And because they did and still do help with the gardening chores, I'm going to go ahead and give them a partial credit. Well, her, because Jack can't get, I won't print out a transcript on him, but I will give her a partial credit for that. I will also give a partial credit for home ec. which I'll call Skillful Living. And then she'll get a partial credit for that. Well, she'll actually get a whole credit for Home Economics and Skillful Living because she's done that the whole year. I've got to figure out literature. I'm just going to say literature. And that would be period. Because she does a lot of reading. So I'm going to do that. And then I'll give that as far as a 1 credit there. All right. So that's where we are living right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It'll give you up to 6 extra credits that you can get. So 2 of those are partial credits. And then the other ones are full credits for the semester long. And so what I'm going to do now is I am going to print that. And then I'm going to print. And then I'm going to go back in and select her fall term because I forgot to put in her physical education, which I did not put in. And she also does junior instructors at Taekwondo. So that is a grade. So I've gotten sister, all of her reports are now printed out. I have an updated fall transcript because I forgot to put her PE on there. And this has her world history. This has her Bible, her geometry, her skillful living, and then her PE are on there. And then I also have her fall semester. Then I have her grades by subject. And then I have her attendance, all of her attendance days. So this has her attendance school 175 days. We are required to do 180, but 175. If they get done early, they're just done early, and I don't penalize them. And they did work a lot of weekends, and I don't give them credit for weekend work too much, but they do their work on the weekend so that they can be done with school early. So that's how, no, the big one. That wrapped up. Now I'm going to do Jackson's if I can get his computer. She didn't. Pray for her. In Jesus' name. Somebody better pray. All right. So I'm going to go into Jackson's and do the exact same thing. All right, y'all. So I've gotten everything printed off. It just takes a little bit longer when you have to explain what you're printing. So I'm looking at subject reports. And this was a new report that I found this year. And what it tells me is it tells me how much time it took the kids on each subject. So like for geometry, which is her worst subject, she just hates, can I have creamer? Yes, ma'am. She hates math. It's just, oh, she hates it. It took her 193 hours to do geometry. For Old Testament survey, which is Bible, 64 hours. She can do Bible. Okay, you guys, so I have gotten it all done. It took me a while. Now, on the curriculum that I use Switched on Schoolhouse. It's an online, no, it's not online. It's on computer. It's CD discs that I transfer to their computer. They do have an online version that's called Monarch, where the kids can actually access the curriculum online. I don't allow my kids online, so I'm perfectly fine with having it on their shell of their computer, and they're able to do their assignments. But in the teacher setup, it does have where you can look at their reports. It took me a couple years to really navigate this curriculum. And so what I do is I go to their reports and then I print off what's relevant. So again, like I said, we have to do attendance reports. So I always print out the attendance reports, and I print those out in for each month. It tells me how many days they went to school, and then for each so the whole year as a whole. So I print it out by the month and then as a whole summary. Then I also print out their EOGs, and I put that in there, but that was from last year. Let me find this year's, because that's throwing me off. So for Alana's, and definitely because I'm trying to get her, make sure I have everything I need for her transcript, I printed off. First thing in her binder is the attendance record, and I have it broken down from September to May, which is their school year. So we used to go back in August, like when mom would go back to school, but I have found that my kids do okay going back the 1st of September. So if I put them back the 1st of September, they still do great. From September until May, they do perfect. And so, like I said, Alana attended school 175 days. She got finished 5 days early, and I let them work at their pace. We have to go 180, but if they get done quicker, I don't argue with it because they're just working ahead. Remember, sometimes they do nights, sometimes they do weekends, sometimes they do holidays. We might have Christmas break off, and they don't want the whole time off. They're like, Mom, can we do school? Don't work. Don't, no problem for me. Do whatever you want to do. So, probably the least amount of days they went to school was in, well, this is probably, I need to go back and look at this. December, because we had, winter break. But I might have forgotten to put some days in there for Alana in January, because it doesn't have all of her days. I'll need to go back and look at that. So she probably did do all of her January days. And then what I can do, because I do both my kids the same, cross-check to make sure I have the right days listed. Because I have, see, I'm even seeing some stuff right now on Alana's. I have January the 2nd, and then I don't have anything again until the 7th, which she probably had school on the 6th and the 3rd. So I'm missing 2 days there. So I need to go back and I'll put myself a note to recheck January. And I'll just use a colored pen or whatever. And I'll just make myself a note to make sure that I go back and give her credit for all the days. Sometimes I don't check attendance every single day. I try to do it at the end of the week. So I'm just going to make myself a note that says recheck days in January. And then I can cross-check it with Jackson's. And so it tells me each month how many days they went to school. May, there were a few less days in May because she actually got done fairly quickly. So I just need to make sure that I have all of her stuff right. Then what I do is I print out their subjects and their grades by subject. Also, how many hours they logged per semester, because my kids do semesters. So September through December, and then January through May. So how many hours, like I said, for Alana, the largest amount of hours was geometry. She hates geometry, so she's slow. And so it is a process. She's never going to get done with math early. It never happens. She did 193 hours in geometry and 64 hours in Bible. She was done. So Old Testament, she was done in no time. So we had to actually put in a supplemental, and I probably should have put that on here. She had a supplemental Bible because she finished so fast. So I will have to remember that. And then I print out their subjects for their grade that they got and the number of credits. And then I print out their subjects and each unit, their grades and how much they made per unit. So I want to know all of those types of things. Partly too, because I have, when I first started homeschooling the kids, their dad was not here for it. He wasn't here for homeschool. So I have always kept good records so that if he have questions, I can always just make a copy of anything and send it via email and say, listen, this is how we, this is what we did. This is how we're living. And, have it to be okay right then. The only thing that I need to make an adjustment on is this logs the time that they use their computers. Now, independent reading, like she does a lot of literature reading, I didn't have her log that time. So next year, next school year, I will have them both log in their reading time. They probably log in to 3,000 hours easy just reading. Jackson can read all day long and never do school. That's how much he enjoys reading. We're actually getting ready to do our summer reading list. And so I need to get them. It's going to take some days because we can't go to the library. So I have to get them to do their, you know, request their books online. And then we'll do the curbside pickup because we have just implemented that. So if I go back to next, I'll do Jackson's. And Jackson and his is a little different because he doesn't get, okay. So Jackson, his detail report, Jackson went to school. Fall, okay, Jackson only had school 157 days. So he was done almost 20 some days before Alana was, but that's Jackson. Jackson can do, like, I think his Bible or science or 2 of those were like a month ahead. Like he can just work. Where it takes sister a little bit longer, but she's doing more curriculum. She's doing harder concepts. He can just get through it. He is very, very academically inclined. As far as academics go, Shakema and Jackson are probably parallel in academics, with the exception, you know, the only thing is their age difference. So Jackson, his mind just thinks, and he can propel himself along. And sometimes sister gets distracted or she needs a break. And that's just differences in kids. Homeschooling allows you to cater to that once you know your children. Like I said, the first 2 or 3 years, 4 or 5 years, we were just struggling, trying to figure out why she can't get it and why school is taking so long. And it wasn't until 9th grade, like I said, when I determined I was going to separate out her curriculum and I was going to do 3 subjects and then 2 subjects. And then if we had any filler in electives, then we would do those as well. Totally was a game changer for her. For Jackson, it didn't matter if he had all 5 subjects or if he had 3 and 2. But with 3 and 2, he got finished, you know, 20 some days before his 180 days were over. And that was fine. So then we picked up music and we picked up his language, and then we picked up his cursive writing. So next year, cursive writing will be a big push for both of them. We'll add that in. And then they'll also have their music lessons will be added in, because right now we're just dibbling and dabbling in music. But they will have music lessons every single day. And we're just using some online resources and some things that were passed along to us by our friend in Australia. Andrea sent me music materials via email. And so we have those materials. So we're going to be using that. And that's just how we're going to work it. If I can fit in some extra lessons here or there, I'll do it. And if not, we're just going to keep on doing what we've been doing, and it's going to be great. But they'll both get a credit for it next year. Specifically sister, because she's the one, like I said, they don't do transcripts for elementary kids or middle school kids. So for Jackson, I have his hours that I logged in, and then I have his grades by subject. Then I have the letter number, and then I have it by subject, and then the unit, because each unit has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 10 units under each main subject, and so I want to make sure. So if I go back and start looking, okay, where did they struggle, or where do I need to pull in some summer resources, then I know what I'm looking at. But for the most part, that's it. And then the only thing that I'm going to add to this notebook tomorrow is I'm going to add their EOGs, because we do the online EOGs. As soon as we hit submit, within a 5 to 10 minute turnaround, their scores are back to me, and it's no problem. And then I just go ahead and print those off, punch holes, and I put it in this notebook. So in this notebook, I have 2018-19 and I have 2019-20. I probably need a bigger notebook, and I'm just using one to keep everything together for sister specifically, so that I'll make sure that I have everything that Alana needs when I start going to put together her full Transcript for the community college or whatever she decides she wants to do. She's probably going to be my community college kid, although Shamika did do community college when she got out of the Navy. So she did community college later, and then she transferred into the 4-year university. I think Trandon is going to be looking at community college as well after he gets done with his working and stuff. So, you know, that's just how I'm doing it. I did just get an email from a homeschool friend of mine, and they have a co-op in Prince George's County, Maryland, and they're going to be offering some virtual. They won't be doing a group co-op this year. It's going all virtual for this next school year coming up, and they are putting it out there for additional people to join. And so she just sent me like a supplemental composition literature class that Alana could take. It is a fee for the class. So I'm trying to determine if that's something that I can afford, because I do have to get curriculum. So and that was another reason why I started in September, is because I want to give myself July and August to save up for the kids' curriculum. So that's why we're doing that. But anyway, I just thought that might be helpful to anybody. If you have questions about homeschooling, please let me know. I'll be happy to answer what I can, and what I can't answer, I'll find an answer for you. We are ready to put this year to bed and be fully 100% on summer break. So there it is, you guys. If you like the video, thumb it up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Share it with anybody you think might find it helpful, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye now.